I have a, after my 35 years of working, a really disturbing issue was the my own native place becoming very famous for wrong reasons. The TV carries news of people being beaten up for their association. People are beaten up for their different eating habits and moral policing. These are the things very deeply disturb me for two reasons. One is whatever we learned in our education and the paradigm of development says that the better the development, the better will be the society. That is how we in the social work education it is being taught and the theory is being applied. If you take that into consideration, then look into my own city, Mangalore of Dakshin Kannada, there are development, there are cities, there are flats, there are vehicles, there are business. But my question is whether it has made people better. This is a dilemma, because if this development is not really making the people better, then there is a fundamental flaw in the thinking or the theory what we have been teaching in the schools and even in social work education. So, if the development of a place does not make a good people, even if you take the example of a smart city, the smart city has not made people smart. So this has really made me to think, and my decision to even to come back to the city and to work here seriously in terms of what can we do to change this flaw. So the first thing what came across to my mind was to come back to my alma mater, and I thought, being it is a pioneer institute of social work education, I found that is the most appropriate place to do something in terms of teaching as well as practicing. For that we require a place. So I naturally the Ullal city council, which has more than 50,000 population, want to be a most ideal place for various reasons. One is it has got about 56% Muslim population, that almost 35% is Hindu population, and about 9% Catholic population. I thought this model could be the best model to work on the whole idea of changing the developmental model, that is how to make a city as an inclusive society where people can accept and live together in a better human being, vis-a-vis what we see the latest trend of the skewed development, what I say. So Ullal becomes a very ideal place for me. I think that any intervention which needs to be done cannot be made overnight. I strongly feel, as a professional social worker, I think that an involvement and intervention in the area to be done in a very, a very compact region, has a very good demographic profile, and try to practice and change the trend. Number one, Ullal has a history of communal flare-ups for 4 or 5 decades. Number one. Number two, It has the demographic profile, and any communal problems happening outside can be felt there itself. So the whole plan was, I thought about with the local municipal CMC and discussed with the college, and the college management readily agreed that we need to have a work in a place where we owe it to the Ullal, because Ullal, Roshni had started its extension center about 30 years back, and not directly with the community, but in terms of conducting some Anganwadi training centers. So we thought that we should be placing our students, having a formal understanding with the local CMC, saying that we will work for an inclusive society in Ullal by directly providing technical support to their civic necessities like sanitation, waste management, drinking water, roads and street lights, and also covering the good governance in terms of the tax collection and service delivery to its citizens. So I think we need an intensive work with the local councillors, the governance structure, the CMC, and the management of our college, placing the students. This combination can slowly work towards taking on key issues of development and working towards its benchmarking. We call in urban development as a service level benchmarking. Now the whole soul of this approach is how is it possible to achieve this inclusiveness vis-a-vis the service delivery for the civic citizens. Here the whole idea is that every ward of Ullal already has 27 wards, and each ward will be, with the leadership of the local councillor, will be working towards achieving a benchmark in terms of waste management and sanitation and so on. So the entire concept was proposed to the body, and in the body they have agreed to support the initiative of Roshni Nilaya Extension Center. And in discussion in the body, they decided to take the waste management as the first initiative to begin with. So out of the 27, 8 councillors have come forward, and they said that we will start with the waste management, and with the waste management activity they would like to work towards zero waste management system as a model. Now, this zero waste management and inclusive society linkages. So it has been very clearly spelled out to the councillors in the body, saying that it has to be a voluntary participation. Number two, it has to follow certain basic principles. Number one, with regard to the creating a model, it has to have a resident welfare association to be created in a board, where that for every 10 houses, you will have one representative attending it. So on an average, 300 to 350 households. So you will have about 30 to 35 members representing all castes and communities, and coming together to work on basic things in terms of how to reduce generating waste and how to reuse the waste and how to recycle it. The entire essence of this activity will be the creation of a resident welfare association. By continuously working together on a particular issue, these resident welfare associations, they will come together and they will start realizing how they can achieve zero waste management in their respective ward. Now, coming together and working on a particular issue and a continuous cycle of achieving that once at one benchmark level and moving on to the next issue will keep the group very vibrant, come together and leave aside their basic inhibitions for caste and community differences. And this has to happen, and once it happens, and the cycle of these can be a foundation for an inclusive society. Now, this is what we are planning. I think within 3 years, we have kept 2020 as the target, and we have already placed our final year community development students as well as the first year student of the generic MPSW students also for this, and based on household level, the students have been placed and they started working under the leadership of the local councillor. I'm sure with the initial response, which is going to go a great way, I'm happy that councillors have realized that the importance of residential welfare association, which they need to have in their respective wards. So I think that this model should work, and this is the beginning, and I think this could be a long-term solution to the problem for which I have come back. I think this is what is to be required, and we are all eagerly waiting and working towards it. Thank you.